Let me walk you through the steps of how I achieve this finish on the top of this dresser. So the first thing you have to do is you have to strip the entire thing to raw. So I'm using QCS in conjunction with my carbide scraper. I put the QCS on and then I wait about 15 minutes, put some more on, and then I start scraping. So my whole goal is to get down to raw. You can see there's a lot of sanding to do. So the sanding process is called sanding through the grits. So you start with a low sanding grit of say 120, and then you can move up from there. A lot of times people go 120 to 150 to 180. You can go straight from 120 to 180. So it just depends on the piece that you have and your inconsistencies within the wood. So here is my finer grit. A lot of times I like to do the final sand. I usually wrap some sandpaper around a little sanding block. And I like to do that because I get a little heavy-handed with sanders. And so for my final sanding, I want to make sure I'm not going to blow through any kind of veneer on the edges, because the edges are really a little bit more fragile. So I want to be very careful to make sure I'm not going to sand through anything. And hand sanding allows me to do that. And I just make sure I want to get any imperfections cleared out. So now I'm going to use some frog tape and I'm going to tape off the rest of the dresser. I want to make sure I don't get any of the paint wash on the part of the dresser that I've already finished. So I'm just going to go around it and tape it off and protect it. If you like these kind of tutorials, please consider giving my channel a subscribe and let me know what you think in the comments. Now I'm going to mix up the paint wash. I'm actually going to do two different paint washes. The first one's going to be kind of a white wash, and I'm using the paint that I used on the body of the dresser. This is a new gray by Sherwin-Williams. So I'm going to do 1 part paint to 4 parts water, and that's just going to give me a nice even base to the finish. Before I started applying this, I did mist the entire dresser top just with my mister. That kind of raises the grain a little bit and allows it to accept that whitewash. So I went ahead and went in sections here. In hindsight, I think it's better if you go all the way, instead of doing it in thirds, go the entire length of the dresser. It did work fine, but I think the better method would be to go straight from right to left. You can see I have a few extra little spots there. There's a little area at the front there that's a little bit slightly different wood. So the whitewash kind of helped just start it, but I'm going to finish it off with a tan wash. And I'm using Algonquin by Fusion Mineral Paint. Again, I'm going to do the same ratio. I'm doing 1 part of paint to 4 parts of water. I'm going to do the same process. I have misted the top again with some water, and I'm just putting this on with a paintbrush. You can put it on with a rag, but you're just basically putting it on. Some people let it dry and they don't wipe it back. I do tend to wipe mine back. So I'm going to wipe it on. You can see I'm just going to work it, and then I'm going to come back because it does dry quickly. You have to work really fast. And so you got to work it, take it right back off. It is workable. So you could put, maybe say you put too much on. You could go ahead and put some water on it and then try to pull some off if you put on too much. You could also sand down some if you feel like you put too much on. But at the end, you want to come back. You want to do nice long strokes from left to right to make sure it's really blended in. So here's a shot of just one of the nightstands that was just whitewashed, and there it is with the tan wash. So it's just a little bit darker, adding that tan wash on top. You can see the before, and then this is the after with the tan wash. So the tan wash just kind of blends everything in. So here's a little bit of a closer shot on how I'm doing the paint wash. See how I'm stirring it really well? Because the paint, it's a heavier body than the water. So you want to make sure that during the process where you're doing your paint wash that you are stirring it so that it is a consistent mixture. So you see I'm just applying it with a paintbrush here. This is a fan brush by Zibra paintbrushes. The good. I really enjoy using this particular brush when I'm applying paint washes. You see how I put it in, and then I'm just kind of offloading some of that water on the side of my little cup there. And then I'm just applying it. It really dries quickly, so you want to kind of work quick on this. I'm just trying to go over the entire surface, and then I'm going to wipe it back. So here I'm just using a rag, and I'm wiping from left to right to make sure that it's a consistent look, because this is how it dries. So you want to make sure that when you are wiping it back that you have the look that you're really wanting. I use either a microfiber rag or one of those shop rags just to make sure I don't get like texture in it. And that's how I actually do the wiping back. Here's the finished product. I ended up doing 2 washes, the Anew Gray first and then the tan wash, and I think it really complements this particular dresser. So if you like these kind of flips, please consider giving me a subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.